Hey everybody, it is great to be with you. Brad Macbeth here from The Simple Plan with The Simple Plan Live for this Friday, September 30th, 2022. Great to be with you. We're a couple minutes late in starting because we thought we had hit the go button and apparently we didn't quite start going. So thank you for joining us today. Want to thank our sponsor, the Simple Plan community, and invite you, come and join us there. It's free. We are examining all these types of questions that we're going to be looking at today. This is how you can join us there, Simple Plan community, there on your screen, or it's in the comments if you're watching this on a platform that has comments. So we're going to jump right in here. I have a couple of things I want to talk about first, which is, let's call it the 3 I's of our finances, which have been quite volatile, some of it unpleasant, not all of it, depending on your vantage point in the financial spectrum right now. So the 3 I's, what are those? Well, they're investment returns, they are inflation, and what's the other one? Inflation and interest rates. Inflation, interest rates, and investment returns. And of course, those have all been quite volatile of late. So we're going to look here at investment returns here Friday, September 30th. We've hit a new low for the year. We're now down a little over 25% for this year. And that's somewhat painful for many people. I've been speaking with a lot of clients who are concerned. We look at things, we chart new strategies of what we're going to do. And I would encourage you, if you're a subscriber to our newsletter, you'll see there's a link in there to kind of a monthly broadcast I did yesterday that talks about how we should be looking at these things, these 3 I's and their turbulence right now. But you'll notice we hit a new low for the year, and it's been quite volatile. We had hoped maybe we'd hit bottom here around mid-June. You know, you never know where the bottom is until it's long in the rearview mirror. But you'll notice that things were down to about, maybe down about 22.5% for the year at that point. And then they climbed up quite a bit up to the middle of August over the next 2 months. And at that point, you're like, okay, well, maybe this bear market is subsiding. At least maybe it's not going to go down too much more. Well, turns out that wasn't the case, and we've set a new low. So we're now down 25% for the year. And in fact, if we look, we have to go back to about 2 years ago. Where are we here? 35. Yeah, it's right in there somewhere. November 2020. So almost 2 years ago that we were at this low. So, 2 years of gains, or at least 15 months of gains that were there up until January this year have been wiped out now. Such is how it goes. But, most people aren't invested in the U.S. stock market only, which is what the S&P 500 represents. For many of our clients, they're in a more diversified portfolio. It's about 25%, it's 100% equities to start with. So 100% stock-based mutual funds. We use index funds, and that is about 25% of growth, 25% growth in income stocks, 25% aggressive growth stocks, and 25% international stocks. And it probably divides out to about 25% international, and on a good day, 30% Canadian and 45% US. And so that has given us a smoother ride. It's still not ideal. We're down 17.5%. But given that we're in 100% equities, and we've only captured 2/3 of the downside of the US drop, that's a good thing. So that's our little lesson on what's been going on in the stock market. Typically, these downturns in the market last somewhere between 6 and maybe 18 months at the outside, pardon me. So, where are we at? Who knows? But is now a good time to sell? Well, again, I encourage you to have a look at the video we put out yesterday, which is about the seasons in your finances. And we talk about that particular issue. Okay, so let's get to what we're going to talk about today. And what I want to talk to you about today, as I said, is guaranteed streams of income, how we can guarantee income in retirement, because that is the key to having a comfortable retirement where we're not worrying about whether we're going to run out of money, which Canadians identify as their number one financial fear. So if we at least guarantee what we call the paychecks. We're all used to living off of paychecks, so you want to have checks coming in during the year that are going to cover off your core essential expenses in retirement. And there are ways we can do that. And so we're going to look at a couple of them, one this week and one next week. This week, we're going to look at the GMWB, Guaranteed Monthly Withdrawal Benefit, sometimes called the Guaranteed Lifetime Withdrawal Benefit, and see exactly what that can do for us. And the upsides and the downsides of those types of things, because there is no perfect investment vehicle or investment option. We just have to pick what best fits our circumstances, and usually that's an assortment. So we're looking at this as something that is just part of your toolkit, part of your arsenal for managing your own retirement. So let's have a look. We'll go back here, and we're going to be looking primarily at a single product, and I don't like to use these live sessions to promote a particular product. I like concepts. However, this concept has been around for quite a while. There are many forms of it, but there aren't many that are available new any longer. And so we're looking at really the one that's the best that's available out there. It comes from Empire Life. It's called Class Plus 3 or 3.0. And it's part of the GMWB or GLWB toolkit of options available for investing. And there's been many of these. In fact, probably the most well-known one, and I don't know if they invented it, but they certainly perfected it back in the day, and that was Manulife Income Plus. This came about sometime in the early 2000s, I believe, and they really scored some points with it. And then others got into it. Desjardins had a great product. Empire did, and so did others. Until eventually they all found it in the very low interest rate environment that we've been living in for so long. They found, most insurers found it too expensive or too risky to operate. And so almost all of them have gotten out of it except for Empire. Now, the numbers, the bonuses, the features aren't quite as pretty as they were maybe 20 years ago, but they're still a good fit in the right situation. So you can see here the list of key features and benefits. You start receiving a stream of income. When you're depositing money into these things, they you get what's called an income-based bonus. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of trying to explain it. Can seem a little confusing to people, but think of it as this, that it's from a retirement income point of view, and it's only from a retirement income point of view, that this is a guaranteed annual rate of growth on the money that you put into these plans prior to the time that you begin drawing an income from it. So if you start putting money into it at age 45 and you're going to start drawing money out at age 65, then no matter what the market does, you're at the very least going to get 4% added to your income base, which is what gets used to calculate your level of income when you start to draw an income from it. Now, if you get better performance because there are investment options inside this product. If you get better performance than that 4%, then you actually realize that better performance. And so your income, as it says there, may be bumped up with the automatic income resets that are annual. There's a death benefit to this. The death benefits reset every 3 years, so that can be very helpful so that the guaranteed amount that gets paid out in the event you die can increase nicely and certainly get past more than what you put in initially. Discontinue your income payments. That just means that once you start drawing an income, you can turn it off again if you want, and then it'll start growing again at that 4% rate. It's available for RSPs, tax-free savings account, and RIF contracts. Some people have argued that there's issues putting them inside registered plans. You just have to be aware of what those issues are. And with this particular product, there are investment options where you can get up to 80% equity exposure. So you can get some pretty decent returns in a positive market. So let's have a look at how this actually plays out. They provide a nice calculator there at Empire Life. And I was going to put in the comments, you can actually go to Empire's site and play with this yourself, and also run your own illustrations. And if you want to pick up some more information about the specific product from the product provider themselves. Let's see if I think this is the right link. Oh, no, it isn't. All right, so let's get that right link. We'll post in the comments there. You just have to go to the Empire site, and under the investments, we are looking for Class Plus 3.0. All right, and again, I'm not promoting a particular product or particular product provider. These just happen to be the only folks that are still left in producing this. Okay, so we'll pop that up on your screen there we go. And again, that'll be in the comments. So going back to our illustrator here, let's just look at exactly how this works. So we'll make this for Jill client, and we'll make Jill 50 years old. So let's go back to 1972. That puts her at 50. You can start these earlier. Can be worthwhile doing that. I wouldn't start in these, when I'm 20. Maybe it depends on how you feel about the investment options inside it. But I think there are probably better options when you're younger. And you can put this, as it says, inside a registered, a non-registered, or tax-free savings account. If it's inside a registered account, like an RRSP or a locked-in retirement account, well, all that means is that the minimum withdrawals that are going to happen are going to be the greater of the 4% or the required amount that has to be withdrawn from the RRSP. Sorry, not of the 4%, of whichever percentage is appropriate to your particular age. And I'll get into that in a bit. Okay, so we're going to select non-registered. You see our information here in the summary. We click continue. And we'll just say we put in $100,000 into this thing that we started when we're starting today. And you'll see that we can go with up to 20% fixed income. And it's going to illustrate for us. So this is just an example. It's not what will happen. So in this case, what we're illustrating is against the sequence of returns risk. So, and I talked about this a bit before. I won't get into it today. It just has to do with the risk about when you get near to retirement of the returns happening in a certain order, up or down, while you're just before retirement or once you've retired. So we'll go with the historical Canadian model, which the average rate of return in an 80-20 portfolio is 8.5% or so. So we can click on viewing the returns history, and it'll pop us up here and show us an imaginary. Actually, I'm not sure if this is imaginary or if it actually is taken from history, but it shows you the sequence of returns. So this gives you an example of the types of things we get. So in the first year you could have minus 8.2, and then the second year plus 22, and then plus 13, plus 20, 14, 8, and then minus 25. That sounds familiar. Up 29, and et cetera, and these sequences all work out to that 8.5% rate of return. And so you can see that depending on what happens, things could go very dramatically differently based on your timing. So let's say instead of retiring and the first year of your retirement returns drop 8%, instead they go up 22%. Well, that can have a profound effect by the time you get to the latter stages of your life. All right, so we click the continue button for this illustration. We say that the withdrawal method is the lifetime amount. We could specify a dollar amount, but then we're either going to end up with a surplus or we'll run out of money. Let's say we're going to start at age 65, and we're going to withdraw frequent monthly. Now they have this, but they don't give us the opportunity to index. So we'll click continue. And here's the result. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, what this is illustrating is the actual rate of return. So we're starting here at age 50. We started with our $100,000 deposit. And this is the growth of our income base. And so the income base is the amount that our income is going to get based on when we hit retirement at age 65. And you'll see that it's going along. The blue, so the green is the guaranteed income base. You'll see it's resetting every 3 years in the years that the market value is greater than the base value. So you'll see here, for example, at age 58, that's the end of one of these 3-year periods. And we see the reset jumps it up. So eventually we get to age 65. We start withdrawing the income. Even still, the market value continues to rise. That's a very optimistic scenario. Now you'll see, going from age 50 to age 65, because of the market value increases and the resets that went on, our income base actually grew to $248,000. We deposited only $100,000. The income-based bonuses at 4% a year were added another $60,000. But the market value was actually nearly $250,000. And that's what our income is going to get based off of as we switch over from accumulation to the income phase at retirement. And what we can see here, this is showing us what the lifetime withdrawal amount is. Now that amount is based on your age. So when you start withdrawing your income determines how much you're going to withdraw. Now, interestingly, again, in this scenario, we saw market resets or market-based resets happen as late as age 74. And so the income kept going up. Now, honestly, to me, this is a very optimistic illustration. You normally wouldn't expect that. Once you start drawing it down, you might get a reset in the first few years, but once you get a number of years into it, you've drawn down a fair amount of money. And so you're not going to be getting that much out of it. And so the guaranteed lifetime withdrawal amount is $9,947 annually. That's going to get paid out in monthly installments starting at age 65. And so Jill is going to receive this money for her lifetime. Now we see again, it jumps up. The annual withdrawal amount jumped up because of the resets. And so here's what we find. This is just all the same numbers. A couple of things we'll notice that our death benefit started out at $75,000, which is 75% of the initial amount we deposited. But because the market value increased substantially to $157,000 plus at the end of the fourth year, which was the reset year, it reset to 75% of that, which was $113,000. So that means if Jill were to die at any point, she is going to receive the greater of the market value at the time of her death or the death benefit guarantee. And that'll get paid out as an insurance benefit to her named beneficiaries without tax on it. Okay, so as we go along here, we can see class bonus base, income base. Where's the income? Oh, maybe it's not in this chart. Age, year. So we see our market return sequence there, right? Remember from what we initially looked at, just the one deposit. Oh yes, here's the withdrawals. So the withdrawals start happening and they keep increasing happily. Then eventually they hit a plateau at $21,000 or $20,000. And gosh, they even reset again at age 93. This is the advantage of being able to stay in the equity-based investment inside this. So she's getting a good return. When we get out to, let's say, life expectancy, we'll call it age 90 here. So at age 90, which is the market value? Oh, that's the income base. Where's the market? Okay, this is the market value. So at age 90, remarkably, her market value is at $326,000. So when she dies, that's the amount that is going to get paid out to the client, or pardon me, to the client's beneficiaries, to Jill's beneficiaries. That's, where are we here again? Age 90. Yeah, $326.37. That is what's going to get paid out to her beneficiaries. And meanwhile, then the key to all of this is all the way through, she has been getting this guaranteed level of income. And that's what is going to meet her day-to-day needs to, don't worry, retire happy. Now, if you've already got one of these, whether it's Manulife Income Plus, or you've got it from Desjardins or Empire or whoever else, my advice is, for gosh sakes, do not easily cancel that contract. There can be some great provisions in those contracts, especially if they're a little older. And one thing that I see happen far too often is people run into an advisor who wants to solicit their business. They'll say, oh, I can get you better returns than what you've got in there. By the way, these things have high fees, which that's not untrue. There are significant fees on this because of the guarantees and because of the insurance associated with it. But usually they're pointing them at another product that is stocks or a mutual fund or what have you with no guarantees. And so they'll say, well, we can get you this, and then when you retire, you'll get, you can take 4%. Or, well, here's the nasty truth. Research has now shown that you cannot reliably withdraw 3% from your nest egg in retirement in order to be sure that your nest egg does not get exhausted before you die. And so you've got something like this that's going to pay you out 5, 6, 6.5% lifetime income. And of course, if you die before the principal is exhausted, that principal or whatever's remaining goes to your named beneficiaries as an insurance benefit. And so this is giving you the paycheck that you need in retirement. Now, you can go and take those other risks with the other portion of your retirement investments, which we say is for the play checks. That is for the money that you're going to use for the non-essentials in retirement, for the, let's call it discretionary spending. So for your travel, for your gifts to the people you love, for whatever luxuries you enjoy or hobbies you enjoy or what have you. But you want to make sure in retirement that you have a guaranteed level of income. And there's multiple pillars to that. Of course, there's Canada Pension Plan, there's old age security. And if you're really fortunate, which now mostly means you're working for some form of government or quasi-government agency, you may well have a defined benefit pension plan, and it's a defined benefit pension plan. If you only have a defined contribution pension plan, that does not provide you a guaranteed form of income in retirement. There may be options where you can turn it into that, but it's not providing a guaranteed form of retirement income. And so I urge you, if you have one of these contracts, be sure that you fully understand what you're giving up before you ever cash in one of these contracts to get something else. Because you cannot get, except for this Empire Life, which does not offer the same level of benefit that the older contracts did, you can't get these. And so if you're considering that and want a second opinion, feel free to contact us. I'd be happy to have a look at it for you and be able to explain to you exactly what it is you're going to be giving up for whatever it is you're going to do new. So that's kind of a quick crash course on what these are all about. There's lots more to it. There's lots to consider when you're looking at these. They're not the all-in-one solution. They're the solution for a portion of your portfolio. But getting this guaranteed income in retirement, and we spend a lot of time looking at the various guaranteed income solutions for our clients who are approaching or in retirement. Happily, I can say that the increased interest rate environment, while very painful for borrowers, including those with mortgages, and especially including those with things like lines of credit and credit cards, debt that they carry. But for those that are savers, interest rates are up significantly, and you can get significantly better guaranteed rates of return. It's been many, many years since we've seen that. So it's a good period for savers in that regard, especially for people that are on a fixed income. So a lot of older folks out there using GICs. These increased interest rates are helping them out quite substantially. So that is our show, our program for today. I want to thank the Simple Plan community again, our sponsor. Join us there at facebook.com/groups/Simple Plan community. You know, if you would like to talk about these issues, if you would like an opinion, or if you want to know something, we'd love to talk to you. Have an initial consultation, or just a chat even, for 15 minutes or so. You can do that for free. We're always happy to do it at go.getthesimpleplan.com/calendar-new. You can book time directly in my calendar at a time that works for you. We'll get together and we'll have a conversation about whatever you want to talk about. Matters financial anyway. And then finally, I want to invite you to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. we have a monthly newsletter that goes out to all our clients, but we also have a weekly one that goes out to a much larger group of people. You're welcome to subscribe to that. It includes links to our weekly broadcasts, also lots of other tips, tricks, and things that we've been doing. For example, I published our monthly video yesterday that goes in our client newsletter. I've actually put a link to that in this week's weekly newsletter because it's particularly about the 3I circumstances we're in there with interest rates, inflation, and investment returns right now, which are on many people's minds. So you can subscribe there at go.getthesimpleplan.com/subscribe. So thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate you. We appreciate having time out of your day to share what matters to us. If you want to know more, you have questions, get in touch with us. Thanks very much and have a great weekend.